First Corinthians 15 and verse 58 says, "Therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord. For as much as ye know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord." I'm going to start this off by giving honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Yahweh Kakwadash. Peace and salutations to the elect men and other men that are diligently pushing forth the will and doctrine of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai day by day, according to the true understanding of the scriptures. To you I say shalom. You got to put in work if you want to see results, right? In order for your labor to not be in vain, in order for you to get an increase, in order for you to receive the promises and the blessings, right? In order for you to receive that increase, you know, see the results, you got to put in the work, right? And I got a few scriptures lined up that I just want to go into, briefly, just to hit this point. So, hopping back, into this verse right here, First Corinthians 15 verse 58, it says, "Therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord. For as much as ye know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord." You see? So when you're laboring and you're laboring for him, and as you doing that consistently in the right spirit, you're gonna be able to receive that increase. It ain't gonna just be in vain. Lord, he's not a man that he shall lie. So you gonna get what is promised. You're gonna get that increase. You're gonna receive the things that you went righteously. And he's only gonna give you things that's gonna help you to be better, help you to continue in that work. Scripture say you can never go far enough. Roughly paraphrasing the scripture that's in Sirach. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this word steadfast. So it's the word steadfast. It says resolutely or dutifully firm and unwavering. Synonyms that it has here is loyal, faithful, committed, devoted, dedicated, dependable, reliable, steady, right? Constant, firm, determined, relentless, unchanging, unwavering, unhesitating, unfaltering. So to be steadfast is really to be like founded upon that rock. With you being founded upon that rock, you're able to build. Once that foundation is set and it's stable, right? Or can't nothing move it. You're able to just constantly build, and you only building to where nothing's ruined the integrity of that foundation. The Lord only gonna give you the things that's needed to help keep the integrity in check of that foundation, making sure that it's unwavering, making sure that it's steady, making sure it's unfaltering, uncompromising, right? So you can also get that word abounding too. Which is very plentiful, abundant, exist in large numbers or amounts. to flourish. You're bountiful, generous, be full of, overflow with. Yeah. So those are all things that we want and need when it comes to looking to get results. You got to make sure that you firm, consistent, unmovable, right? And with you doing that, right? Basically, you standing 10 toes for the Lord and constantly doing the work and constantly pushing His word, right? You're gonna receive that increase, and that increase is only going to abound. It's going to flourish. It's going to be, something to be filled with, right? And with you being filled with it, it only puts you in a position to be able to give to others as well, you know. But getting my next verse is Proverbs 10 and verse 4. It says, "He becometh poor that dealeth with a slack hand, but the hand of the diligent maketh rich." Right? So being diligent and working hard in the moments and seasons to do so is what's going to get you riches, right? Riches being something that's of value, because it doesn't have to just be carnal riches, shekels or silver or gold, money, but it can be other things that is of value, knowledge, wisdom, health, wealth, right? Um, Having, what I'm saying, the things that you desire, right? But that's what you're able to receive with you doing that. You know what I'm saying? Being diligent and working hard versus, you being slothful, right? Slack of hands. You're gonna be without. If you never plant, how can you ever bear fruit? Right? So there's no laziness. Laziness, the slothfulness is only what's gonna prevent you from being able to grow, from you being able to receive and gain that increase. Right? Just the same verse in the AMP, it says, "Poor is he who works with a negligent and idle hand, but the hand of the diligent makes him rich." You see, idle. It says of a person avoiding work, lazy. It says without purpose or effect, pointless. Spend time doing nothing. So you see definitions here: lazy, slothful, sluggish, negligent. See, and negligent is what? Failing to take proper care in doing something, right? You gotta make sure you take proper care with doing the Lord's work. You know, Lord saying, what is that? John 15 to 16. It says, "Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you that ye should go and bring forth fruit." And it's the point, in that your fruit should remain. You see, that your fruit should remain, right? It says, for negligent, failing to take proper care in doing something. If you're not taking proper care of something, how is it going to remain? Versus if you are, it will remain. It says that whatsoever ye shall ask of the Father in my name, he may give it to you. Give it you, Salat. So you see here within this verse, right? those that have been chosen, you are to put in the work, right? Plant the seeds, tend to the plant, and making sure that it's able to bring forth fruit. And then with that, maintain that plant, if you will, right? Basically, maintaining yourself, being consistent, being considerate, tending to yourself, and making sure that you on point, staying consistently in the scriptures, keeping it in your mind, right? Fine tuning, you know what I'm saying, your thoughts and your intentions, as far as the things that you do, that you go on to do, how you think, how you go on to respond. You want to make sure that you're going about these things in all ways that will please the Lord. You applying the Lord's word to real life, you know what I'm saying, situations, how you best can. And with you doing that, right, you gain an experience, you gain understanding, you able to what you reading and applying, you able to receive wisdom, and then you applying that wisdom, and that's a part of that increase. That's something that's of value for the Lord to be able to give you that wisdom. That's where you gonna see. That's a part of the results, and you doing all these things is you putting in the work, right? So reading it again in the Amplified Bible, the AMP, it says, right, Proverbs 10:4, poor is he who works with a negligent and idle hand, but the hand of the diligent makes him rich. You see, and again, riches is things of value. This is Proverbs 14 and verse 23. It says, "In all labor there is profit, but the talk of the lips tendeth only to penury." Right? In the same verse in the ERV, it says, "If you work hard, you will have plenty." You see, you putting in that work, you're gonna have results. It says, "If you do nothing but talk, you will not have enough." And in the NLT, it says, "Work brings profit, but mere talk leads to poverty." That's like James 1:22. You know, the faith without the works. You can't just be a hearer and not a doer. You got to put action to your words, right? We can't just sit and talk about being or getting better without putting it into action. We got to prove what we know and what we learn, right? We got to prove those things, the things that we know and learn, because that's how you receive and gain, you know? That's how you're able to receive further understanding of something. That's how you're able to prove something. You know what I'm saying? To know that it's that this is true or this is false, right? Because again, faith without works is dead. So you don't want to just be somebody that's just talking. You know, you want to be somebody that's actually doing, and what you doing, right? That's how you're able to be an example to others. That's how you're able to let your light so shine before others, so that way they can glorify the Lord and see, like, oh, okay, this is how this works. This makes sense. Let me start doing this. You know, if it be of the Lord's will, but you doing so is how you help Him. That's you putting in the work, and with you putting in the work, the Lord able to make things happen, right? And Him making things happen is you seeing those results and receiving an increase. Real quick, since I mentioned it, just want to grab it real fast too. James chapter 1 and verse 22. It says, But be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. For if any be a hearer of the word and not a doer, he is like unto a man beholding his natural face in a glass. For he beholdeth himself, and goeth his way, and straightway forgetteth what manner of man he was. You see, if you're not doing what it is that you are reading, that you practicing, that you holding to, right? You could basically get lost out here, lost in the sauce. You doing what you know is how you able to like stay tethered to the Lord. You doing what he told you to do. You looking to do what he told you to do is how you stay tethered to him. This is Colossians chapter 3, and I'm going to start at verse 23. It says, and whatsoever ye do, do it heartily, as to the Lord, and not unto men, knowing that of the Lord ye shall receive the reward of the inheritance. For ye serve the Lord Hamashiach, right? Hamashiach being the anointed, i.e. Yahushua. So this is something that's important to keep in mind. This is showing you how what you put in that work, you're going to be able to receive that reward, right? That reward is that increase, seeing those results. Understand our purpose, right? Your purpose, and make sure it's focused on the Most High and pleasing Him so that you can receive what He promised, you know? And it makes me think of this scripture real quick too. In Proverbs, 16th chapter, in the 3rd verse, it says, commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established. You see, when you commit your words to the Lord, right, he's only going to establish it if it's aligned with his will. And his will is ultimately set up to benefit us in the long run. So you doing what he asks of you, you doing what he commands, right? And you putting it into action, right? You living it out. There's a specific outcome that comes with that. You know what I'm saying? And you doing it for the right reasons. You doing it for the right purpose. You're not going over or below your measure. You just doing what's needed of you. He gonna give you that increase. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna establish it because it's only aligned with him. This is Galatians chapter 6 verse 8. It says, for he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption, but he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting. You see, and that you sowing to the Spirit is you making sure that you align with his will, because that's how you going to have that life everlasting. You're going to have results that actually remain. But it says, verse 9, and let us not be weary in well doing, for in due season ye shall reap if we faint not. You see? So you aren't to be faint hearted, be weak, be idle, be slothful. You know what I'm saying? Slacking of the hands, right? You want to be steadfast, diligent. You don't want to be weary. You want to do the opposite of that. Be confident in his word. Because the Lord didn't give us a spirit of fear, but of a sound mind, right? Power, confidence, right? To be confident in his word and knowing that you're going to be able to receive of that inheritance. He's going to give you an increase. He's going to make sure that you're good. He's going to make sure that you have what you need. He's going to make sure that you in a position to where you have all that you need to further abound and abound in him, right? And all that you bear forth of, right? It will remain because it's through him. It's under him. It's a certain level of protection that comes with that. So all the things that you want, you got to make sure that he at the center of it, right? And that you doing it for the right reasons. And with you doing it for the right reasons and you putting in the work for those right reasons, having the right intentions, right? He's gonna give you that increase. He's gonna give you the results that you're looking for, you know. But if your mind's not on him, or your mind is occupied somewhere else, or you looking to serve someone else, you're not gonna receive those things. It says, "For in due season ye shall reap, if we faint not." So that's pretty much the point. You know, you gotta put in the work if you want to see results. If you never plant, how can you ever bear fruit? And just like how you are to know a man by his fruits, you are to bear those fruits so that way you may be known by them. You know, that's how you make sure that the based off of your fruits, right? And if your fruits are righteous, that's how you are to be known. You know what I'm saying? By others, and that's only going to help others to know the Lord. You only um promoting the blessings that come with dealing with the Lord in this way. You're not making the Lord look bad. You're making the Lord look good. So that's pretty much it. You know, that's pretty much the point. You know, Lord willing, you know, all this been edifying. I'm gonna read the scripture that we started off with one more time. 1 Corinthians 15 and verse 58 says, "Therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord. For as much as ye know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord." You see? So keep pushing, keep doing the work, right? Make sure that you understand your purpose, your lot, your position, what it is that the Lord needs from you, right? Fine tune that, get right on that, and allow the Lord to be able to give you the increase. Don't go above your measure, don't go below it. So